The Proclamation of the Holy Gospel according to Mark. Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became dazzling white, such as no fuller on earth could bleach them. Then Elijah appeared to them along with Moses, and they were conversing with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus in reply, "Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He hardly knew what to say. They were so terrified. Then a cloud came, casting a shadow over them. From the cloud came a voice, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." Suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone but Jesus alone with them. As they were coming down from the mountain, he charged them not to relate what they had seen to anyone, except when the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept the matter to themselves, questioning what rising from the dead meant. The Gospel of the Lord.
Our Gospel on this second Sunday of Lent is taken from St. Mark. We have been reflecting on the blessings that come to us when we listen to God. Lent is a time of prayer, and there are many different ways of dialoguing with God in prayer. One important aspect of prayer is listening to God. And as I said earlier, we always ask for blessings. But the blessings will come when we first listen to God. In the first reading, Abraham is presented as an example of a person who was totally open to the Word of God. He heard, he responded promptly, and he acted on the Word of God, even if the message sounded quite harsh. For God was asking him to sacrifice, to offer his only son Isaac. But what God was looking for was not the body of Isaac being burned. No, God was looking for the devotion of Abraham, his willingness to listen to God and to obey God. And God saw it, and the sacrifice of Isaac was stopped. And with that devotion of Abraham, blessings came to him, to Isaac, and all his descendants. Which leads us to the second reading. We know sometimes the message of God, the Word of God, may sound harsh, unacceptable to us. And that leads us to shutting off the ear of our heart. We don't want to listen to God anymore. But St. Paul reminds the Romans, God will never be against you. God is for you. God did not even spare His only Son, Jesus, to save you. So do not be afraid to listen to God. God will not say a word that will lead to your destruction. The message may sound to us as painful or even against us, but no. Our God is a God who is for us. So look to Him, the one speaking. Put your trust in Him, then you will understand the message. Thanks to Jesus, the one that was sent by God, we are all blessed. This leads us to the Gospel, the transfiguration of Jesus. He brought His 3 closest disciples, Peter, James, and John, to a mountain, Mount Tabor. Wow. Remember, dear brothers and sisters, this transfiguration event happened after Jesus' exposition, disclosure, revelation to the disciples about His suffering and eventual death and resurrection as the Messiah, He was slowly revealing to them, speaking to them, what am I as a Messiah? And when they heard that He was a Messiah who had to go through passion, death, before entering the resurrected life, they got discouraged. Maybe the message was so harsh, they did not want to listen to Jesus anymore. Then came this event of the Transfiguration. It happened on a mountain. That means something divine will happen. The mountain is the privileged place of encountering God. God will do something or will reveal something. And before the three disciples, Jesus was transformed. Even His clothing became dazzlingly white. Again, speaking of the symbol, a manifestation of the divinity. More than what any human or earthly bleacher could do or soap could do. So here you have the manifestation of the divine. So God will communicate to the three disciples who earlier refused to listen to the word of Jesus about a suffering Messiah. The mountain, the glory, the light. Then Moses and Elijah, two people who were sent by God to speak to Israel. Moses with the law, Elijah with prophecy, and how the people Israel listened to them. Yet, a cloud from heaven descends, and the voice says, hey, you have here Jesus, greater than Moses, greater than Elijah. He is my son. He is my beloved son. Listen to Him. The word of my son may sound harsh, and you initially rejected His being a Messiah that suffers. But please, He is my son. If you listen to Moses and you listen to Elijah, you should listen all the more to Him. He is my son. He's not just a lawgiver. He's not just a prophet. He is my word. He is my word made flesh. And He is among you as one of you. In Him I am for you. I am not against you. Listen to Him. And here blessing will come. They are being told that in the harsh word of the passion and death will come the blessing of the resurrection. Listen to Him. Put your trust in Him, because the one speaking is my son. So my dear brothers and sisters, again, as we enter the discipline of prayer, let us harness this very spiritual discipline of listening to God and focusing on the one who speaks. For if we are convinced that the one speaking is God and Jesus, the Son of God, then the message, no matter how harsh, will be transfigured. We will see the liberating love of God being offered to us. But we have to trust in the one speaking. It is God who is for us in Jesus Christ, who will undergo passion and death, but will bring us glory and light. You know, my dear brothers and sisters, I'm inviting you to go back to your experiences of listening and how, like Abraham and the disciples, you responded even to hard messages, difficult messages, and rediscover the blessings that came to you because you listened. You know, once I was a young priest then, and I gave a talk, and after my talk, some gifts were given to me, different gifts, some souvenirs, and then some people gave me some envelopes, and you know what envelopes contained. Once in a while, you have holy pictures, but most of the time, you have a little cash gift, And when I got home, to the seminary where I was working, I put all the contents of the envelopes together. And at that time, it was quite big. It amounted to like 7,000 pesos. At the time, it was substantial. The following day, a family approached me. They wanted to start a livelihood, and they needed 7,000 pesos. So you have the struggle. I experienced the struggle. Will I listen to God speaking to me through this family? Or will I just say, oh, well, this is too harsh. I just got it and now I have to surrender it. After a period of struggle, I said, I have to listen. And I gave them the 7. With a bit of regret, but also the blessing of liberation and knowing that I have helped a family. After a few minutes, somebody came and said, Father, this gift was meant for you yesterday, but it did not reach you. So I accepted it. I opened it, 9,000 pesos, more than what I had given. Oh, listen. And when you listen, you don't even have to ask. The Lord will give you. The word has been exposed. Let us now fulfill.